Summoned a lesser maker. For the last 8 months, I've been working on this Mordheim Skyscraper, and I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I've actually never spent more than a day or a couple hours painting any of my terrain pieces. But today, this thing is huge, so I'm gonna have to change that. When I paint something, I have a couple goals. One is because I paint such huge things, it's important for me that my paint isn't super expensive. So I buy all my paint from the dollar store. The other is I don't want to spend 3,000 years painting every little plank of wood to the highest degree. That's not a useful use of my time. I would rather get this thing done. So I have several techniques for stonework or for wood or for my metals that is consistent. And having techniques worked out for myself will not just save me time, but it's gonna make sure that my paint job might not be the best, but at the very least, it's consistent. Let's start off by coating all the foam. Okay, so to prime all of our foam, we're gonna use Mod Podge and black paint. You can also use school glue. Now, the other thing that I do when I'm priming something huge like this is I get a giant brush. This is from the dollar store, and I tend to not take care of these very well. And since it's $1, I don't have to feel bad about it. So, is that some of this is fully painted, and some of this isn't. We're gonna mask some things off later, but it's okay to paint things over at this step because I like to finish my builds in sections. So some of this is fully painted right now because that's how I like to work. I like to get those easy wins. So that's why some of this is already painted. Before I spray paint this, there are several things that I don't need to repaint. That will be good enough to mask everything. I like to use this because it won't ever pull off paint, not like masking tape would. It conforms to the surface, so that also helps. My favorite part about priming is it's like magic. You get to see all the little itty bitty pieces come together into one unified piece, and it makes such a huge difference. You get to see all the texture that you built into it, and it's just magic. So man, this turned out so much better than I expected, and I'm really looking forward to painting it. Break it into sections. Stonework and wood are going to be two different sections, and then metal. So let me show you. I'm going to start with the stonework because that's going to be everything that's like in the middle, and then I'm going to kind of try to work my way out. So let me show you what the stonework I'm going for is. I want my stonework to look like this yellow limestone. You can see there's some light parts, dark parts, and there's a lot of variation that I can kind of hide behind. And because a lot of this stonework is pretty flat, I can always work in some interesting texture. Because this structure is so tall, I'm gonna try to go for a gradient from like a very saturated color to a dark color up top, where the stonework should be its most worn. And yeah, I just really like this look. This is kind of my go-to whenever I'm doing any stonework. The only thing that I'm gonna try to avoid is getting paint too deep in the recesses for me to like I'm losing some definition here. It'll probably be fine, but I do kind of want shadows. So the less paint I put on, the better. When I primed it, I also kind of faded in some color, some black primer into the places I was gonna keep the paint on, so I can kind of spend some time to blend it in to the stuff that's already there. And All right, so I got all the stonework done, but I think I need to let this dry before I start doing the wood. I like my wood to look like this. It's like a blue color. I want it to look really dried out with some blue and brown mixed together, and then just a little bit of white. I'll be able to kind of just dry brush all the wood. That's kind of the ratio you want. And I do like to kind of get a mix on the brush so that when I stroke the color onto the model, it kind of adds an automatic wood texture. For the popsicle sticks, this is more important than like the balsa wood, because the balsa wood already has a pretty good texture, but popsicle sticks are really smooth. While I have you here, it would be a huge favor if you could help me fight the algorithm by doing all the stuff below. I'd really appreciate it. I do think that having some consistent colors across your terrain builds is a little bit more important than painting it super duper well. The reason for that is you're going to be putting a lot of your stuff together. I find it really fun to kind of break the mold with the colors that I'm picking. My stonework is kind of a wood brown color, and then my wood is kind of a stone cold color. And I think flipping that on its head weirdly works for some reason. And I think that has a big majority to it because I'm consistent with how I paint all my stuff. So when I put all my stuff together, it doesn't really clash and fight itself too much. Something else to keep in mind is because you're using cheap paints like I am, that black base coat is gonna really dull all this paint down. So I'm using an orangey brown and kind of a dark yellow for all of my thatched roof and ground color. Because of that, the black undercoat is kind of gonna model the paint a little bit, and it's gonna make a pretty interesting texture. I only go over my stuff with one coat, so I want it to be thick in some spots, and it's okay for it to be thin in others. I do all my metal colors in a like Statue of Liberty green type color, and I really like the look of this. And it's super easy with just two different colors of green. Over this black base coat, I'm able to just kind of slap it on and get it done really quick. I really enjoy painting this color. And green's my favorite color, so making it kind of the spotlight or the focal point for the build is something I really enjoy. I also do all the windows and gargoyles this metal color green too, because it's a nice pop of color across the whole board, and it's a lot easier for gameplay for me to say, hey, if you see a green window, you can shoot through it. Man, this is a really good feeling. I've been working on this, like I said, for 8 months, and I'm so glad to finally have everything painted. It's not perfect, but like, for example, I printed out all these ladders to put everywhere, and I totally forgot about them. But I ran out of time. As it's getting closer to Christmas, it's becoming a lot more difficult to get time to get in here. But eventually I'll get to it. I think I'm just really happy to finally get this to a really good spot. I really enjoyed this build. It challenged me in so many different ways, and I learned a lot. Yeah, that's a really good feeling. And it looks really great. Feel free to let me know what you think in the comments. Like I said earlier, help me fight the algorithm by sharing this around. I think my last video of the year is going to be kind of like a supercut edit of this whole thing. So watch that when that comes out, because it's going to be a really good one. Thanks for following along and subscribing. For all of you who waited around for all that time, I have some really cool projects in the future, so make sure you hang around a little bit longer for those. I really appreciate you guys. It's been a great year, and I'm really looking forward to the projects coming up. It's going to be really great. All right. If you want to support the channel, there's a Patreon. It's only $2 a month at the minimum to like help me out make crazy things like this. This would not be possible without my patrons, so I really appreciate your support. All right. Have a good one.